Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to Kiki and Kibitz. It's me, Mary, and I'm here today with 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, Season 9, Episode 15. You're not a kid anymore, Dorothy. I think the same person is in charge of writing the titles for both Seeking Sister Wife and 90 Day Fiance because 2 weeks ago, the title of one of the Seeking Sister Wife episodes was You're Not in Brazil Anymore, Dorothy. And now it's You're Not a Kid Anymore, Dorothy. Is the same person coming up with the titles for episodes for both shows? Who knows? Okay, if I was going to give this particular episode a grade, it would be a C. We are getting towards the end of Happily Ever After. Thank goodness. From what I understand, word on the street, there is 3 more episodes until the tell all. And who knows, it'll probably be a 4-part tell all. Okay, so it looks like we still have a bit to go, but the light is nearing the end of the tunnel. Okay, you can see a glimmer of light at the end of the tunnel for this season. Okay, so let's get into Darcy and Georgie first. Of course, Darcy started off this episode crying, but it's not for the reason why you think it is. Okay, she was cutting onions. And of course, she was being overly dramatic cutting the onions. So Georgie walks in. Georgie's like, "Why are you crying? You cry for no reason. I never know why you cry anymore." And basically, Georgie expressed to Darcy that he feels like his feelings don't matter. Okay, that it's all about Darcy, and he doesn't even come into the equation at all. When Darcy asked him how was your day, he was like, "Why do you ask? It's not like you care." Darcy's like, "I'm sorry you feel this way. I'm gonna make things better." Blah 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 blah. Okay, so now who actually believes Darcy cooks? I mean, yeah. Okay, so Darcy cooked this meal. Her and Georgie are just whatever. Can you tell that I'm sick of this already? It's the same shit over and over. So now they're going to New York because the House of 11, Darcy and Stacy's, fashion line is going to be featured in New York Fashion Week. This is not the first time. So Darcy and Georgie are going to fly to New York. But first, they have to make a stop in Connecticut to visit Darcy's dad. Okay. So they get to Mike's house, Darcy and her 100 suitcases, and she's happy to see her daughters. She's like, "Mommy's home." Okay. Now, I don't mean to be a mean bitch, but ever since I saw Anico's OnlyFans that was leaked to me in my DMs, I can't look at her the same anymore. Okay, I'm sorry. After seeing her OnlyFans, yeah. Okay, so mommy's home, and the girls greet stepdad Georgie, and everyone's like, okay, they go into the kitchen where Darcy attempts to cook again. So Darcy is attempting to make a pancake on a griddle pan that bacon was already made on. And she didn't wash off the bacon grease. She didn't do anything. She just added more grease to the pan and slapped this pancake on it. Now, her daughters are watching her. Their expressions are priceless. You could tell that they're kind of sick of their mother's over the topness, okay? Because everything she does is fucking over the top. Even when she's making a pancake in bacon grease, she's over the fucking top, okay? So, Darcy decides that she has something that she wants to talk about. And now, while she's making this banana chocolate chip bacon grease pancake, it will be the perfect time to talk about it. So their lease is coming up in Miami. And she just realized Miami's really fucking expensive. So she came up with this bright idea. Oh, yeah, with this really, really great idea, you guys. Her and Georgie are going to move. Where are they moving? Back to Connecticut, into Daddy's house, into her room. Daddy was like, "Excuse me, what? Where? You're moving where?" No, I don't think so. And Georgie is like, "Where the fuck did this come from? Like, you never mentioned this to me." And she's like, "Yeah, well, this is why we're here, so we could discuss it." And Georgie's like, "Yeah, great job of her, springing it on me in front of her family. Like, she never told me what she wanted, about this in the future. And I really don't want to pick an argument in front of her dad." That was really fucked up, Darcy. Okay, the first time Georgie hears about this is in front of your dad and your daughters. That's not the way to treat your husband, girl. Come on, you are 51. You're my age. Okay, they've turned 51. And girl, don't you know that when you're going to bring up something life changing like that, you do it to your husband in private. Okay, you don't drop the bomb in front of daddy. But this is the same woman that CCs her dad on text messages to her husband asking for his half of the rent. Make that make sense. Okay, so dad, Mike said, "Hell's no. Mm-mm-mm. I'm shutting this down right now, right here, because you know what happens. If you were to move in, then guess who's going to come right behind you with her 200 suitcases? Stacy. Because whatever you do, Stacy does. Whatever Stacy does, you do. I'm not going to have both of you moving back into my house with your husbands and your 400 suitcases. No. I'm too old for the shit. And on top of that, did we mention that he is suffering from cancer? No, he does not need Darcy and Stacy shenanigans in his house. So Georgie is like, whew, thank goodness he shut that down. Because once Darcy wants something, it's her way or the highway. So thank goodness dad shut that shit down. So now it's the next day, and Stacy and Florian arrive, and they're dressed like a band. Stacy, Florian, and Georgie. Okay, they're like all matching, and the guys go outside to shovel snow, while the girls go talk to daddy in his office. So Florian asked Georgie, what's going on with your wife? And Georgie's like, you know how things are. When she doesn't get what she wants, she goes crazy. And Florian's like, yeah, I know. Meanwhile, inside, the girls, well, actually, Darcy, I'm sorry, Darcy is being lectured by Daddy. And Stacy, being the good twin that she is stirring the fucking pot. Oh, yeah, Stacy has been stirring the pot all season. She stirred the pot in the hotel room in Bulgaria and just made the situation worse with Darcy. And now she is stirring the pot in front of Daddy. She made sure to tell Daddy how Georgie seems to have, digs to throw. And, it's like digs at both of us, Daddy. It's not only at Darcy, he's throwing things at me too, Daddy. Did I mention these women are 51 years old? Okay, so they're talking about Georgie and money and how secretive he could be with money. And like Darcy said, Daddy, this wasn't the first time him being secretive with money and us having money issues. And Florian recounts a story on how one day Darcy was like, my feet are cold. I need to put on socks. She goes into the sock drawer, opens up a pair of socks, and cha-ching, dollar bill, y'all. She hit the lottery. There was a whole stash of money in a pair of socks. Okay, so Florian's retelling this whole story, and you could tell he's highly amused by telling this whole story. So Darcy is getting lectured by her dad. Her dad's like, I told you from the get go that you were a sugar mama. And now you are still a sugar mama. Is he in this for the long haul, Darcy? Like, I fucking told you this was going to happen when you got married, but you said, no, I can handle this. And now you're CCing me on text trying to get money from Georgie for rent. Like, seriously. Okay, so now it's next day, and the girls and their men are leaving to New York for the New York fashion show. And Mike is looking out the window. You could tell he's relieved that they're leaving. So they're in the car, and of course, Stacy takes the opportunity to stir the pot. So she brought up on how Daddy is concerned that Georgie may not be in this for the long haul. Okay. And this kind of shit really upsets Georgie because he feels like that Darcy and Stacy take every opportunity they can to bash him to the family. Okay. And it makes him look bad. And he just doesn't appreciate it. Okay. Which, do you blame him? Especially with Stacy stirring the fucking pot back there. So then they both started with, don't waste my time. Don't waste my time. If you're not in this for the long haul, don't waste my time. Stacy in the back seat. Don't waste our time. Excuse me? This is not your relationship, Stacy. Your relationship is with the dude sitting next to you. Okay? Why are you referring to this as our time? Our. No. This is Darcy's, not an hour situation. But anyway, so Georgie throws out the, well, maybe I'm wasting my best years. And forget it. They flip the fuck out. Oh, what are you saying? We're 50 and fabulous. We have a business. We brought up two children each. And I'm just like, Stacy, please shut the fuck up. And Florian, don't you see that part of the reason why one day Darcy and Georgie are fighting and the next day they're holding hands and skipping is because of your wife's shit stirring? Instead of your wife just shutting the fuck up and knowing her lane, no, she has to stir the fucking pot every time. But she didn't appreciate when Darcy showed up at the last resort and Darcy was stirring the pot. So, whatever. Okay, so they're going to New York and Darcy's not happy. Georgie's not happy. And yeah, with 3 episodes left before the tell all. Okay, I see the road to last resort 3 very, very clearly for these two. Just saying. Okay, moving on. Brandon and Julia. Ugh.
That was bullshit.
Julia's attitude this whole season. Okay, Julia is living on, this is Planet Julia, and I don't give a shit about anybody else, especially my husband and his fucking feelings. So, first of all, she is giving Brandon a haircut, okay, because he needs a fresh haircut because they're going away on their European trip, which I'm totally confused because over the summer they were posting pictures from their Grand Asia tour. So did they go to Europe and Asia? Hmm. Okay, so Betty shows up with a bottle of wine. She comes bringing gifts because the last time things didn't end so well. So now let's just rip the band-aid off, okay? Brandon told his parents that he quit his job and that they are leaving in a few days on their grand European tour. Now, I get Brandon, I'm sorry, I get Betty and Ron's reaction, but I want to say it's also an overreaction. Yes, they didn't sell Julia's apartment yet. Okay, so they're going on this trip with no money and no plan. But you know something? He's a grown ass man. She's a grown ass woman. And Betty, I know it's hard, but you just got to cut the cord and let him make his fuck ups. Okay. And let him come crawling back for you to say, I told you so. You should have listened to your parents. Okay. Their reaction, even though I feel like, okay, it's warranted, but in the same sense, it's an overreaction because not like we're dealing with a bunch of teenagers who decided they're going to drop out of high school and go travel around Europe. I mean, these are grown ass people. If they want to make a stupid move like that before they sell the apartment to get the funds, then hey, you can't do anything about it. So, Brandon, he just really doesn't know what to say. His parents are like flipping out, and he's just kind of like standing there. He's like dumbfounded. Okay. And his parents are like, this isn't like you, Brandon. And Julia's like, well, we've already done this. We got the tickets and we're going forward with it. And Julia's like, since you guys are not on our side, and Brandon, I'm sorry, Betty and Ron is like, it's not about sides. We're a family. And basically, if you feel that way, Betty's like, if you feel that way, that there's sides and blah, 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 then maybe you need to go back to Russia. It started getting really messy and really nasty. And I feel, once again, a bit of an overreaction. They only, they're going on this trip. How long are they going to be gone for? 2, 3, maybe even 6 months. When they run out of money and they realize that this was a stupid decision and they come running back to you guys, you could say, I told you so. So Betty's like so upset. I can't take this anymore. And Betty and Ron leave. Brandon basically has a mental breakdown on the kitchen floor because he's like, okay, I feel like the relationship with my parents is broken. And who knows if this trip is going to actually fix anything between me and you. Like, are we going to go on this trip, come back, and things are still going to be fucked up? And then I'm not going to have my marriage or my parents? Yeah, that was too much for him to bear. So he broke down on the kitchen floor. While he's having a meltdown on the kitchen floor, Julie is looking at him like, come on, you pussy, are you fucking kidding me? But Julia, you should know better. Come on, is any of this surprising? No, not really. Moving on to the Florida three couple idiots, I should say. Andre and Elizabeth, Jovi and Yara, and Alex and Lauren. So we pick up where we left off last week. Yara left the hot tub because the subject of her ugly teenage pictures were brought up again. And Jovi's like, but I didn't mean it that way. I didn't mean it anything negative. Jovi, you brought up on how she was a funny looking teenager. Okay. And you didn't think that that was going to piss her off. You guys have been married for a bit, right? I mean, come on, Jovi, use that brain. So Yara says that this is like her deepest insecurity, and her husband is bringing it up. So yeah, that's like really fucked up on his part. And you know what else was fucked up on his part? The fact that Elizabeth had to tell him to go after his own wife. Like, dude, seriously? The fuck? Okay. So he, finds her. He tells her, I didn't mean anything negative by it. I love you. You're beautiful. Blah, blah, blah. Come back to the hot tub. They go back to the hot tub. And of course, Andre brings it up again. He's like, dude, you really say stupid shit sometimes. And Yara really wants to move on from it, but it keeps being brought up and she's reliving it every time. So now Lauren's like, okay, I had enough of the fresh air. I'm going to call it a night. Andre and Elizabeth call it a night. And basically, Jovi is stuck with a pissed off Yara still. So back in Andre and Elizabeth's room, Andre's like, can I state my opinion about something. Since when that has ever stopped you, Andre? Okay. So basically, his opinion is Yara is way out of Jovi's league. Okay. And that basically Jovi got her because of his money. Andre, if I was you, I would shut the fuck up. Okay. Because some can say that you're not that high up on the look scale either. I'm not saying he's as bad as Jovi, but maybe he needs to look in a mirror as well. Andre, you want to throw the shade, dude. Like, seriously? Okay, so he's like, okay, Yara, and she's sick of this. She's like, I really wish my husband would know better, but he's a fucking idiot. And I'm tired of them arguing over this, just like Jovi is. And he's like, I'm going to the bar. You could sit here and be miserable. And Yara's like, this is the reason why I do not want to move back to New Orleans, because in New Orleans, the only person I will have is you. And when we argue and you decide that you're going to leave and go to the bar, I'm going to be stuck by myself. So Jovi's like, oh, yeah, great. Just another excuse for you to hold over my head, blah, blah, blah. Okay. The next morning, the guys are going mo- snowmobiling, and they're happy to be away from their wives. They feel like, Jovi in particular, every now and again, you need a break from your wife. And I agree. Every now and again, you need a break from your spouse. You can't be with your spouse 24/7. You'll go fucking nuts. But that's just my opinion. So the ladies are going shopping. And there is nothing like retail therapy. And I don't even like to shop. And I could tell you there is nothing like retail therapy. And Lauren, like Lauren says, there are actual studies out there that says retail therapy, shopping produces endorphins that make you feel happy. Yara's like, listen, if I had a choice between buying a Rolex and sex, it would be a Rolex every time, because the feeling you get from having a Rolex lasts longer than the temporary good feeling from sex. I'm like, you're a girl. She had me fucking dying. Okay. So now, speaking of sex, and the guys brought this up in the van. Jovi was like, oh, yeah, Andre, I heard noises coming out of your room. Why are we talking about sex like we're a bunch of teenagers? Yes, of course, there's going to be noises coming out of Andre and Elizabeth's room. They're a married couple on vacation away from their small children. They could walk around naked there in their hotel room if they want. They could fuck all day long and all night long if they want. Their children are not there. So why the fuck not? So Elizabeth shares that she's been doing a lot of fun fucking since they've been on vacation. Hey, you go, girl. You get all the fun fucking you could get in. Okay? Because once you go back home, then it's the quickies. So they talked about that. And apparently, Yara has been going through a dry spell with Jovi because she just hasn't mentally been there to have sex. So the guys had a lot of fun snowboarding, which was good. And the ladies went out for lunch after their little shopping trip. And you got to give it to Yara. Yara has the best intentions, but she should have shut her fucking mouth because she opened up a can of worms. She was like, you see, you guys were so worried about, being around each other and going on vacation, but everything has been fine so far. Then Lauren had to open her mouth and say, Elizabeth, it really, really hurt me seeing you again because of what you did and how you violated my trust. And Elizabeth is looking at her like she got 10 fucking heads. Like, what do you mean I violated your trust? And Lauren is like, is she fucking kidding me? Did she forget that she blurted out about Alex body shaming me, which wasn't even true, by the way, at Yara's launch party. And Andre doubled down and said that he reads her text messages. So, yeah, Yara's like, I don't know what to do. Should I get up? Are these two gonna fight? Like, what's gonna happen here? Like I said, you have to love Yara and her intentions, but she opened up a whole can of worms. Okay. Elizabeth's all like, well, I can't tell you what Andre's motivations and intentions are. We're all going out to a bar tonight. Why don't you ask him yourself? Yara's like, I think we just need more time for healing. Okay. It's way too early. We just need more time for healing. Okay. So Lauren is thinking about the fact that Elizabeth wants her to confront Andre about him reading the text messages between them, dating 2.5 years ago. So Lauren's like, more that I think about it, more I'm like, what the fuck? That doesn't make any sense. Next week, we see in the preview that Elizabeth takes over Stacy's spoon for shit stirring a little bit. And she goes and tells Yara, well, Elizabeth makes fun of you. She has some like really nasty things. I'm sorry, Lauren makes fun of you, Yara. She has some really nasty things to say about your fashion sense. And Yara confronts Lauren, and Lauren's like, that's it. I'm out of here. Alex, let's go. So, yeah. So now finally, Jasmine. And all I have to say regarding this whole, oh my goodness, poor Jazzy is such a victim storyline that they're trying to shove down our throats.
Bullshit detected. Take precautions. Bullshit level DEFCON 5.
Okay, so last week, Gino called Jasmine, gave her a invoice, all the money he spent on her, itemized, detailed invoice, $75,000. Which, by the way, what is up with $75,000 this season? That was the amount that Andre lost in the Moldovan investment property. And that's how much Jasmine owes Gino. Okay, interesting. So, Jasmine is hysterically crying and she calls cousin Michelle. That was basically the phone call. Michelle, Gino called me and said he's gonna have me deported. Michelle says, Jasmine, take a deep breath. Just because he says it doesn't necessarily mean it's true. He's very angry, Jasmine, and he says a lot of things that he doesn't mean when he's angry. And he doesn't want to take responsibility for his part in the failure of the relationship. And Jasmine's like, I don't want to go through this pregnancy without Matt.
Oh, come on now. That ain't even bullshit. That's horse shit.
So Michelle's like, you need to go speak to a lawyer, find out the real situation. Okay. And this way you'll feel better once you know what the real situation is and what you can do to fix it. Now, here is Jasmine's newest confessional look, very heavily pregnant. Okay. They have her, um, she looks so, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. Demure. Demure Jasmine. Okay, in her confessional look, crying that she was brought here to the United States with empty promises And now she's scared that she's going to get kicked out like a bad, rotten apple.
Warning, warning, bullshit alert.
So, next scene, after she's hysterically crying on the phone with cousin in law Michelle, her and Matt are out having ice cream or whatever the fuck they're eating. These little cake ice cream balls that smoke in your mouth. She's playing Puff the Magic Dragon. Her and Matt are showing off their best impressions of Puff the Magic Dragon. Okay? So she has an appointment with an attorney. And remember, she's pregnant, Matt. Okay? And since she's pregnant, her brain has shrunk smaller than it smaller than it already was. Okay? So she has pregnancy fog, Matt. So do not expect her to remember to ask the attorney about divorcing Gino. I mean, she's going to forget to divorce Gino because she's pregnant. Matt, come on. She has pregnancy brain fog going on.
That was bullshit.
So she's writing her list of questions and she is not putting divorcing Gino as a priority. And Mac doesn't understand why. Yeah, neither do I. But is it all because of the storyline? Hmm. Anyway, Jasmine is shooting him daggers because he's like, I think you should make divorcing Gino one of your top priorities. If the attorney says you can go forward with the divorce, I would go forward with the divorce. Okay. And Matt's like, I don't get it. Why she doesn't want to put divorcing Gino at the top of the list. Okay. I don't want to introduce her to my mother while she's still married. So let's get divorced, Jasmine. But Jazzy's in Jazzy's world and she's pregnant. Her brain has shrunk smaller than it usually is. And she just can't, think about divorcing Gino just yet. She's worried about being deported. She has bigger problems. So they go see the attorney. Jasmine's in the car going, please, 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 let me get good news. Please, 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 let me get good news. And basically, okay, I just wanted to throw this up here. Matt yawning while Jasmine is telling her whole story to the attorney. Correct me to fuck up beyond belief. But anyway, so the attorney, she's soaking in Jasmine's whole story, the open marriage, now being pregnant, Matt's baby. She's just soaking it all in. And she's like, well, I think an important thing for you guys to realize, okay, is that since you're still legally married to Gino, when this baby arrives, Gino could claim legal rights as the baby's father. Gino could be listed as the baby's father on the birth certificate. And Matt at that moment was like, what? Hold up, what? Wait, what? What are you saying? And Jasmine, of course, she starts to cry. Okay. And even the attorney says, you know something? Your first priority should be getting this divorce. Okay. And Matt asks, let me ask you a question. If she was to divorce Gino and marry me before the baby gets here, that would help out everything, right? And the attorney's like, technically it would, but you don't have enough time. There's no way you're going to be able to pull that off. So now Jasmine is like even more hysterical because she didn't get the news that she wanted to get. And on top of that, she got more bad news dropped on her lap that Gino could technically be daddy legally. Not biologically, legally. Biologically, Matt is daddy, but because They're in Florida. And you know something else, you guys? This also applies in the state of Michigan, where they got married. Because Jasmine and Gino are still legally married, Gino could be listed as the father on the birth certificate because he is Jasmine's husband and he is presumed to be the father. Yeah, so this is turning into a hot fucking mess. And Jasmine is hysterical. But one thing that has come out of this that's good, I guess, is that baby Maddie has another auntie. Oh, yes, the best divorce attorney in the world. Okay, so now the final scene, Jasmine is brushing Coco's teeth on the sofa and she shaves Coco's butt and then kisses it. Last week, she and Coco shared a glass of water. Now, I know Jasmine is doing this to get a reaction out of people, but okay. So she's like, Coco, you and I are going to be deported soon. Matt is like, stop saying that. And Jasmine asked him, in case I was to get deported while the baby was still in my stomach, would you do everything in your power to get us back? And he's like, Mama, I love you so much, Mama. When he calls her Mama, I'm like, "Ugh, please, of all pet names like Babe, Honey, Sweetie Pie, Mama? But Mama, you are closer to me than any woman has ever been. And you are carrying my child. So trust me, Mama, when I say this. I will spend more money, more effort, and more time than Gino ever has in court to get you and my daughter back. And just at that moment, baby Matilda kicked in mommy's tummy. And Jasmine's like, oh, she just kicked. Oh my goodness. And Matt's like, I love you. And then there's this really sweet moment where he's kissing her belly and he has his hand on her belly and feeling the baby kicking and really, really sweet moment. Okay. Now, Jasmine in her new victim confessional look is really scared, you guys. She's really, really, really scared. Well, maybe she should have thought of this before she decided to be a cheater, pumpkin eater, in my opinion. So that is basically it, you guys, for this episode. Thank you so much for watching me. Please subscribe if you don't already. Double check that you are subscribed because YouTube will play games every now and they'll unsubscribe you. And then weeks will go by and you'll say, where the fuck did Mary's videos go? Double check that you are subscribed. Share my video with a friend or 10. Comment, like. Please consider joining my membership and check out my merchandise. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.